Hi everyone. Today we have with us Mr. Arjun Suresh sir. So it's a great honor, it's a great privilege. The man, the myth, the legend. We have him with us for an interview, and it's a great privilege, sir, that I'm getting to do this interview with you. So for those of you who know Gate Overflow, who know Go classes, anything, either of those things, will already know Arjun Suresh sir's reputation pretty well. But still, if you are living under a rock, I'm still going to introduce him to you. So Arjun Suresh sir is the founder of Gate Overflow forum, and to give you a brief of his professional life, he did his engineering from College of Engineering Trivandrum, BTech CSE. Then he did his masters from IISc, and meanwhile he also founded Gate Overflow website. He has worked as a system software engineer for NVIDIA. Completed his PhD from INRIA, France. His postdoctoral research from Ohio State University in USA, and worked as an MTS for AMD. Then senior researcher, and then senior ML Perf engineer. He has held multiple positions. So welcome, sir.
Yeah, thanks, Himanshu. Thanks for the introduction. Just a small correction. Like, I had
Yeah.
worked at NVIDIA, but it was only for 9 days. So,
Oh, was
just
that
to be
so?
clear. Yeah,
Okay,
because
so
it was after my master's. I joined NVIDIA, and the same day I got my PhD position. So, like, I
yeah,
thought, like anyway, like I will need to leave within 2-3 months. So I just left immediately. So, yeah.
yeah. Yeah. Great. So, sir, let's start with your GATE journey. Of course, we all know about your journey after GATE. Means the when it comes to when it is related to GATE. But what about your GATE journey? We'd like to know about your GATE journey as well.
Yeah, so my gut journey, I can compare it with almost majority of the undergraduates. Like
Mm,
while doing undergraduate, like yeah, like most people, I also was like thinking GATE is a good exam, so we wanted to
right.
prepare for it. But as usual, we were lazy and never really focused on it. I remember, I think it was during my third year, me and my friends took some Gate, I think it was Gate Forum books. We took photostat of those books.
Right.
I think I did only C programming, and that was not for Gate, but it was out of my interest. I basically did only C programming questions. Other subjects never even touched or opened the book. And once, because as many undergraduates believe, I also thought that GATE is an exam where we need to put a lot of effort to learn the subjects.
Right.
And which needs dedicated coaching. So we asked even our professors at college to give GATE coaching, which
Mm,
they did not give. But I like yeah, and then almost 4-5 months before the GATE, we had our placements, and I was placed in Philips. So, like
right.
at that time, I completely. I mean, I thought GATE is. I was not really interested in going for GATE. I
Mm,
was completely sure that I will join Philips and work as a software engineer. Then GATE came, and went for the exam, and my only aim was to get qualified in GATE.
mhm.
Just that I like getting disqualified would be like a bad reputation.
Yeah.
But when I gave the GATE exam, only like it was 3 hours, and uh, typically most exams I finish early. But the GATE
Mm,
exam, even after 3 hours, I had to hurry in the end to finish the exam.
mhm.
So because the GATE exam is typically like not testing your memory skills. So
Yeah.
even if you haven't studied like you study for university exams, it's not going to cause you loss many marks. So if you know the concepts well, we can answer many questions. That is what I
Yeah, logic
realized.
can be applied.
Yeah, logic can be applied many times. If you know the concept, many options gets eliminated, and yeah, and even otherwise, like there is 15 marks aptitude, C
Mm,
algorithm programming, those covers another 15 marks. And so like
mm,
uh, yeah, I think I got 53 marks in gate, and most of them would be like from these subjects, and database SQL, so which we cover in our undergraduate. So the subject which
mm,
I was pretty bad would be like discrete mathematics, because that subject we did not follow like good textbook. That was my big negative for gate. So all the other most of the other subjects, even though I did not prepared specifically for gate, I
mm.
was comfortable. And again, like I was not sure like what even like gate was out of 100 marks. So, like no detail I had about gate, and I even did not see any previous year paper. I
Oh,
wasn't even knowing. I mean, I means that most of our batchmates were not even knowing that the previous year papers were available.
mhm,
And even I remember after getting the result, I think I got 330 rank. Again, I wasn't
mm,
sure like with that rank what college or what we will get. And
right.
my friend, he had 213 rank. So we
Okay.
were like very close friends, close friends. Like we used to talk to each other almost 1 hour daily.
Mm,
So and so both of us were checking together like where to apply and all, and we found okay. I think including you, you are also a gate topper, right? So you would be checking like where to, like main question will be IIT Bombay or IISc.
I see. Yeah.
So, but for us at that time, we did not have that question even. We were thinking, okay, IAC is the best. So we were just
Yeah.
focusing on IAC. And once we got that, yeah, since, I mean, maybe like if he was not there, I might not have joined IAC,
Mm,
because I really wanted to join Philips.
right.
But since he was also there, I thought, okay, let's go to IISc. Yeah,
Destiny
and
had
so,
different plans for you altogether.
yeah, correct. And
Mm.
yeah, but I don't have much more to say about gate preparation because I didn't really prepare.
So the one interesting question that I'm really curious about, because you said that at that time discrete math was something that you weren't particularly good with at that time. So is there some subject now that you think is still something that you don't really, not to say not like, but something that you will still like to stay a little bit away from, or are less interested in compared to some other subjects that you are really interested in?
I won't say like I am not interested in, but still, even now, I would say the of all the gate topics, linear algebra will be one which I am still not good at, even at undergraduate level, because I
Mhm.
never really studied that.
Right. Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but one thing I really regret is the discrete mathematics, because if I had seen a book like Kenneth Rosen at that time, it would have been
Mm,
much more enjoyable. But instead,
yeah.
like one of our faculty, he showed us a book which was called Sajid P. I mean, that was
Mm,
a horrible book. Like each page, you can find 4 5 mistakes. And imagine an undergraduate student without knowing the subject. When they go through that book, you will start
yeah.
hating the subject even.
Yeah. And I would
Yeah.
wonder that at that time, I don't think online resources were as diverse, because right now we have Gate Overflow. You didn't have a Gate Overflow to start with. So those kind of resources or those kind of platforms were not there for you at that time.
Yeah, yeah, that is true. Like at that time also, like there were some forums, like online forums, but those were like very sparsely populated. Like some questions
Yeah.
will be there, but no useful answers. Yes.
Right. Yeah. So let's talk about your MTech life as well, because a lot of folks have that experience that initial few months or initial few semester, first or second semester is really tough for them, especially if they're going to IISc or IIT Bombay. These few months become really hectic for them. A lot of adjustment has to be done. So what was that experience like for you when you went into IISc in the first semester? What was it like for you?
Yeah, like I was really not only I, like I told, I was with my friends, so both of us were really scared because both of us did not really prepare for GATE. So again, many like discrete mathematics, many subjects we were not comfortable. Even like DOC, like I knew like regular expression, finite automata. That part I was comfortable, but nothing beyond that. Like decidability, I had no clue at that time. So we were really scared. So again, the typical question is how to pass the exams.
Yeah,
But the good thing was after the, I think, first exams, our marks were in good, but even many of the gate toppers, their marks were also not good. So
right.
even when we get very low marks, we were still above the average.
Mm,
So then the other thing, big realization was for undergraduate exams, we like at least I used to almost like 1 week before the exams we start preparing, and
yeah.
we will try to cover as much as we can. And but that kind of preparation is almost useless for at IISc. Like the day before the exam, we can relax because nothing we do will matter.
Mm,
So yeah, we understand that the concepts which you really understand, that only will help you in the exams.
right.
If you study to read the day before or even 2 to 3 days before, those won't be useful in the exams. So
Yeah,
that was, I mean, in positive way, it is like exams won't scare you because there is
right.
nothing you need to specifically do for exams. And
Mm,
yeah, sometimes you get used to getting low marks. Like until going to IISc, I never got below 40 percentage in any exam.
mm,
I think it was in probability exam at IISc that I think I got 11 marks out of 50,
mm,
and that 11 was still above average. And you can imagine IISc where the top students of India, like after GATE, are there, and still
yeah,
11 marks was above average.
yeah,
So yeah, so that was like a new realization. And in terms of hecticness, I won't say like uh, it was that hectic. And again, typically, most seniors advise that for masters you took 5 courses in the first semester, 5 in the second semester. So like the last year is fully free. So in
mm,
my case, I did slightly different. I think I took 4, 3, 2, 1, something like that. So my load was distributed. And again, like most people consider system subject stuff, but it is something
yeah,
personal. Like for me, system subjects were not that tough because I got a better grade in system subjects, and also I had to put less effort. So these
mm,
kind of advices are, I would say, it's personal. Like so when you, like, even my senior, he was a very good person because he advised, like, he did not say anything specific. He used to say like, um, uh, go to every course and continue whatever you like. I think that
right,
is a best advice because each individual is different, right? So you cannot
right.
go with what the majority does. Yeah.
Mm, and
And yeah, so I would say like IISc life was my best time as a student.
mm,
That was the time I think before IISc I had 12 years of schooling, 4 years of undergraduate, but
that's good.
16 years I never really knew how to study. That
Mm,
thing I learned only after going to IISc. So that was the best thing that happened to me.
Right. So one question that I'm curious about here is that like that was the time that intelligence systems, artificial intelligence, machine learning started booming out as a proper discipline of study, because at that before that time it was mostly research oriented. So what was that change like? Did IISc or IITs, you must have seen it through your own eyes at that time? Did what was the adaptation like in curriculum in universities at that time?
So at that time, again, AI was not as a main, like a different department or anything like it is now. But still,
Right.
like even during our batch, intelligence systems, machine learning, that was the one which most people wanted to go to.
Okay.
But in my case, like like I told, linear algebra itself was not my interest, so I did
Mm.
not go to that side. Even I was mostly I was focusing on logic related stuffs like formal methods, mathematical logic, because I used to enjoy that more.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah,
So
but even
what?
yeah. So even at that time, I think in our batch, most people wanted to do machine learning.
Okay. Yeah.
Y-
So is it still at that time, or is the time now? It's still the same fact of machine learning that it is.
Yeah, that is true. Now they have like I think IISc have a specific department for artificial intelligence.
Right.
So there are like basically more faculties working on machine learning. But in terms of demand, I think yeah, most people want to like. I remember like 2 years back we had an opinion poll in Gateoverflow asking. It was out of 140 students.
Mm.
148 gate toppers, and 131 wanted to study machine learning.
Right. Even IISc AI exam that they take for the admission in AI department, the turnout was really great, really big. So I was there, so the turnout was extremely good, and the professors and everything were very welcoming to answer any question about the field or anything about the curriculum. So yeah, it was great experience there as well.
Okay. Yeah. So my advice is that if those who are going to take machine learning, they should do it out of their interest. You should not do
Right,
it just because hearing that there are a lot of jobs in machine learning, because that can disappear pretty soon. So
right,
even like even now it has happened, right? Many of the like when ChatGPT came out, many of the machine learning jobs got replaced, and
mm,
so the most demanding jobs are the ones which can disappear quite fast.
right, yeah.
Yeah.
So you said that you before your masters you did 12 years of school, then 4 years of bachelor's as well, graduation as well, so undergrad as well. So during that time you didn't actually know how to learn, and you learned it at IISc. So some what are some other key takeaways from your master's life, from IISc life, that you would like to share?
Yeah, the one other interesting thing was like I thought I was quite afraid going to IISc. Like I was thinking like, okay, it is. I mean, it is the number one institute in India, and the fact professors are like very knowledgeable. So like, how to even
Right.
survive there? But
Mm,
one really enjoyable thing, this is very specific to CSA department also, because all the faculties, they were very open. And even as a, like we are joining as a master student, and even if you share some opinion, they are very welcoming to it. So mostly the professors, if they cannot do something, they would say like, okay, you want it, you do it. So that kind
right.
of encouragement, that was completely, I would say, missing in our undergraduates, because during that time, even if you propose something and even if you do something, they will be like most of the department will be like opposing you or like discouraging you. So
Right.
yeah, I mean, I wouldn't say like everyone. We had good encouragement during our undergraduate also. For example, similar to Gate Overflow, during our time, we had a forum which was specific to our college. So for starting that forum, we had encouragement from some faculties and all. But I would say like
Right.
those are rare, not like the common. But in
Mm.
IISc, especially the CSA department, you can say that is the norm. So
Mm.
students have more freedom and more encouragement to do things like useful things. So
Right.
uh, yeah, and more freedom. Yeah, and I mean, other thing is you get to study with the best minds in the country. So that is
Right.
also very nice feeling. Yeah.
So, so after your master's, you did your PhD from INRIA and then went for your postdoc at Ohio State. So, at what point was it during your master's, or was it like before even master's, you decided this trajectory that you will go for doctorate and then you'll go for research roles postdoc? So, when was it decided for you?
So basically, like in my career, like nothing was pre-planned. So even my
Okay.
PhD, it was like a sudden decision. During masters, I was placed at NVIDIA, and almost after the masters only, like like basically, I told about my friend, right, whom we joined IISc. So he had applied for PhD, and he got in INRIA, France. So he just
Okay.
encouraged me also to apply, and I was like in two minds whether to go for job or PhD. Then I checked about, I googled about NVIDIA at that time,
Mm.
and the reviews were in positive. So that
Okay.
was one encouraging factor for me to apply for PhD. So I applied only at INRIA, I think, and yeah, fortunately, I got the offer, and that was the same day which I joined NVIDIA. Then I thought, okay, company, you can come back anytime later. So I had no idea about France. So I thought,
Right.
okay, let's go there and see what it is. So yeah, that's how I went to France. And I think the only thing I knew about France was the French Revolution, which I studied during in history.
I thought it.
But
I thought only thing you knew about France would be that they make good cheese and good wine and they pair
that
well.
I had no idea that. I
Okay.
wasn't aware of that. And but France was a very beautiful experience. It was yeah, if you read the news, I think even now there are like revolt happening there.
Mm-hmm.
But normally the French people are like very nice, very helping, and I had got my visa to France, but in my Trivandrum airport before going, the immigration officer was saying that you cannot go to France without knowing French.
Oh,
So I was like, I mean, I had no idea about French then. Uh, so it is like majority of the people there won't speak English,
right.
but uh, I was surviving with Google Translate.
Mm-hmm.
So I used to show my phone the Google Translate the French thing, and some people, especially the young people there, they know or they can understand English. So
Right.
and in my office, since research means they have to publish international papers, so everything
Right.
have to be in English. So English
Mm.
was not a. I mean, we can always communicate in English, so that was good.
Mm.
But other than that, got to know many good things about France, about like cheese, wine, chocolates, and all the desserts. Because I have been to
Right.
many countries, but in terms of the variety and taste of desserts, I think France is way ahead. We
Right.
used to get two, three desserts, and those are like very unique ones.
Yeah.
Uh, yeah, and
Starting the
uh,
morning with croissant sounds very nice.
yeah, and the only thing is the typical French food, it won't be spicy. So,
Okay.
but in terms of sweetness, French food is the best. And
Mm,
yeah, and yeah, uh,
right. So, I would like to ask you about like how you navigated your interest, because you said that it wasn't like most people were doing what the majority would do at IISc or some places like that. So, how did you particularly navigate your interest? You said that you were good with system subjects, but you have also worked in machine learning. You have obviously worked with compilers, computer architectures related to that. So, how did you actually navigate what your particular interest lies in terms of what you want to work ahead with?
So from my undergraduate and even during masters, I would say my courses and my interest was driven mostly by C programming because that is
Right.
what I was really interested in, and that
Mm,
helped me a lot. Also, like I think my BTech placement, my GATE exam, even my MTech placement, that had the knowledge in C programming helped me a lot in all these places. And even
yeah.
like compilers, again, it was the knowledge of C programming that is why I took compilers. And in turn, when I studied compilers, I learned more about C programming. And
Mm,
yeah, and basically that is what which took me to even my PhD. So my PhD was in compilers, but it, it is not like hardcore compiler work.
mm,
Again, the other thing which always interested me was optimization. Like given an
mm,
application or code, how to get the best performance out of it, which is what
right.
compiler optimization does. But it's not only compiler; we can also change the application and improve the performance. So that is
Mm,
something. I mean. Like why it interests me is that we do something and we can get the output pretty fast. So it is like
right.
very
Yeah.
fast, result oriented research.
Mm,
I am not someone who can do like research work for months and wait for another months to get results. Yeah.
yeah. So, given your background that you have mostly worked with systems, you have mostly worked with the compilers and computer architecture, and mostly in this domain. So, how did you, or how like easy or how hard was it for you to navigate into machine learning at that time?
So to be honest, I have never really navigated into machine learning even now.
Mm,
So I can say the first time I was like closely working with machine learning was during my postdoc. So
okay.
during the postdoc, my work was on making a tensor transposition library for NVIDIA GPUs. So again,
Okay.
the main objective there was to get the theoretical peak performance.
Mm,
So when we think in terms of performance aspect there, uh, it's not nothing. I mean, no machine learning concepts are there, and even our library was not made specifically for machine learning purpose. But it just turns out that most of the machine learning applications what uses tensors, and tensor
tensors.
transposition gets applied there. So it was
Right.
like yeah, and yeah, and after that even now, like last 2 years, I have been working for ML Commons, where people submit machine learning benchmarks. So there also,
Right.
like my focus is on optimization, and so we have the machine learning application and we want to get
Mm,
the best performance out of it. So
right.
yeah, you can say it's more like at the compiler level or application level. It's not
Mm,
we are not developing or improving the machine learning algorithms.
right.
So it's yeah.
It's still a good time for like a good time for machine learning plus systems engineering, because I think just a few days ago, DeepMind released a paper where they invented a sorting algorithm with help of machine learning by optimizing the machine level code. So I think it's an interesting time for that as well.
Yeah, there are a lot of scope in that area. And, like we have ChatGPT now, but the main challenge is that it needs a lot of resource to run. So
Right.
optimizing that and making it run efficiently, that will go on for like many more years. And
Mm.
those kind of work and applications that will be there for another 5-10 years at least. So
Yeah.
many interesting work will be there. And I would say like machine learning plus systems, both will be needed. Like pure machine learning work, that the demand will be going down because
Mm.
because of chat, because that is getting automated.
Right.
And
Yeah.
there are like very good frameworks. Like couple of years back, the machine learning frameworks were in matured, but now most of them are getting matured. So those will replace many jobs. But again, like I told,
Yeah.
the replaced jobs, those jobs will be replaced by different ones, and those will be
Mm.
more related to systems also.
Yeah. Sure. So let's talk a little about Gate Overflow, the forum.
Okay.
Like, what was the idea behind that? How was that idea born? And there are two certain things that I would like to ask you distinctly. Like, what was the motivation behind it? And how did that motivation convert into Gate Overflow forum? So those are the two things that I want to ask. Yeah.
Okay. So motivation, yeah, there was a clear motivation because it was during my PhD time. I like I told, I was in France, and it was a completely new place. So I can say like I was pretty lonely there because outside of my work, especially during the first year, I had no company, and I cannot really go out and speak to people because I was not knowing French. And even then, there weren't many people at that place.
Right.
It was one like a not a big city where I was studying. So I used to spend a lot of time on in Facebook. So I joined a group which was called Gate Computer Science. So that group was pretty active. At that time, there were around 4,000 people, and within 1 year, I think the group crossed 1 lakh people. So you can
Okay.
see like it was
So,
pretty active, and the members there used to ask very good questions like related to Git. So I was interested in finding the like many questions I was not knowing the answers. So I was interested in finding the answers and answering them. And after 1 year, one issue was that those answers were getting lost because
mm,
if you know like Facebook, the answers will go down, and
right.
even the search function never used to work well. I think even now they are not working well, but at that time it was like no hope. So I wanted a way to preserve those answers. So that was
Right.
the motivation behind Gate Overflow. So I thought like we checked some open source forum where we can have the questions and answers. And then I came to a forum called Question to Answer, and
Right.
it was free, and it was well written. The code was pretty good. So
Mhm.
then I thought, okay, let's try it. And my friend, I mean, my batchmate at IISc, his name is Suresh. So he was the one who named Gateoverflow.
Okay.
And that's how we started Gateoverflow. And then, like initially, like I used to add those questions and answers, and even from that group, people used to ask questions, and we used to give answers. So that was the initial concept. We
Mm,
were not planning on adding the previous year questions. That was not in our mind.
mm,
Then one like person in the group, she is called Kathleen. She told me like she suggested me to add previous year questions.
Right.
I wasn't sure about like availability of the previous year papers and all. But
Mm,
I thought like if she wants to add, go ahead. And
right.
so she started adding the previous year gate questions, and it was pretty fast. I can say like within 1 month, almost 25 years of questions she added.
Mm,
And then only we thought, okay, all the questions are added, so let's make it complete. Like I'll ensure that
right.
all the questions are there and answered properly. So that was the how the Gateoverflow concept came to be, and I think within 2 3 years, all the questions were added and answered. And because
Right.
of gate aspirants like you, even if there are like some mistakes and all, they used to point to them and give corrections. So
Mm,
and then I think 3 4 years back we made a first book like PDF, and the PDF and even the hard copy that made it reach more people, and again more people means more feedback. And
right.
yeah, so that is how Get Overflow became what it is now.
Right. Yeah. So just somebody who doesn't know how well that previous year question PDF has been built. So like you'll have no better experience than that when you are solving previous year question and everything, because it's so well thought of, because there's a link to, like, when you are solving the question, there's a link. When you click the link, you go down and you see the answers right then and there. And there's a link to the question on Gate Overflow website as well. So you can go there. So it's pretty well thought of, how very well designed. So kudos to you for that, and thanks from, I think, all the gate aspirants who are using that book in PDF form especially. So thank you for that from all of us.
Yeah, you are welcome. And a lot of the design aspect of the book, I have to thank Gate aspirants like you, because, like I told, we were making the PDF almost every year, and every year we used to get the feedbacks. So that is how it reached the current state. So yeah, we have to thank the feedbacks given by all the previous year Gate
Yeah.
aspirants. Yes.
So at what point, like throughout this journey, at what point did you feel like this has started growing and it needs a proper team to keep running smoothly and everything flowing in the way that you wanted it to?
So I would say like initially Git Overflow was running on my laptop
Oh,
uh, uh, when I uh, when I was in France. So the one good thing there was internet was good, and even the electricity was good. So I think almost 6 months it was running on my laptop without any issue. I mean, the laptop was not turning off, internet was not breaking, electricity was not breaking. It was running. But one day there was a power cut, and that
right.
time the basically the website came down, and that is when I thought, okay, we have to move to cloud. And
Mm,
since then we were using Amazon AWS.
mm,
And then when we were making the PDF, that is when, like I told initially, all the previous year questions were added by Kathleen. So those were in image form. So we always wanted all the Gate Overflow content to reach more people, because that is where, I mean, Gate is given by, Gate Computer Science is given by close to 80,000 to 1 lakh people. But I can say that even now, majority or like more than 40,000 won't be even knowing about Gate Overflow. And that is something, but it has situation has improved, because say 5 6 years ago, only about say 1,000 people would be knowing about Gate Overflow. But
mm,
every year that number keeps on improving.
mm,
So when we were making the, even though we had the content on our site, the Google search was not picking those contents, because the contents were in image
mm,
format. So we
right.
thought we had to type in the contents. So that is when initially like we started like forming a team, which were like editing team. So we had multiple people working to basically type in those contents, and that work improved a lot. Like initially, again, Gate means there are a lot of equations and all. So we decided to use LaTeX for that, and on the website we used MathJax, which even now works well. And it was not easy because with MathJax, when we had to make it work in the PDF also,
Right.
but eventually that turned out working pretty well. And then the next challenge was in images. So when we printed the book, we wanted the images to be of like very high quality. So at that time, we found Tix. So Tix is a LaTeX package, and again, some of the very hard images in the Gateoverflow PDF were drawn by Gate aspirants. So
Okay.
some of the previous year Gate aspirants, I don't know, like it was a fantastic effort because those images are like pretty challenging, and they were drawn of the same quality like you can find in international books. So yeah, those are like very good contribution. And again, in the Gate Overflow site and even in our Gate Overflow team, the people. It's not the same team every year. People join and leave because after some time the work is or like even for myself or many early Gate Overflow contributors, the main motivation was to answer something which we don't know. So we
Right.
find the answers and answer them. But after some time, we get bored. So that happens. But what keeps Gate Overflow going is the Gate aspirants, because every year they are new and they
Yeah.
find these challenging. And the main benefit they get out of it is they get a good Gate rank. So that is what keeps the community going.
Yeah, I think it's a proper cycle where when you start preparing for grade, you have that fresh energy. Once you are done with it,
Yes.
once you have a good rank, you are satisfied with your performance. You have that energy of contributing it back to the community as well. So yeah, it's a proper cycle that keeps on going.
Yeah, and typically, like we don't find gate toppers contributing more than 1 year, but that is perfectly expected because, like, when the gate toppers join IISc, IIT, Bombay, like even I wouldn't recommend them to like spend a lot of time on gate. But when they feel bored or like frustrated with their MTech stuff, gate overflow can be a relaxing time.
Right. Yeah.
And the other
Yeah. So
funny thing is, I know, like you, including you, most people during your gate preparation would be like wanting this time to be over and get a good gate rank. But when you join masters or even later in your career, you might think that uh, gate was the perfect time. Gate preparation was the perfect time for me.
right. At this particular time, I just want this particular time to be over, waiting for college to start. Like giving gate and then waiting for college to start is gate time was still better than this. This is anxious time. Don't know what is going to happen after joining.
Oh, when is the classes starting?
27th we have joining this
Okay,
month.
okay. Yeah, so while you're anxious, you can enjoy this time.
There's nothing like you're in the middle because I'm a repeater. I don't have like much to do in this time. College is over. Now the college will start. So yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I would like to also talk about some key learnings because you have talked about a lot of things that like improve the website, improve the forum along the way. So what were some of the key learnings for you as well in these terms?
Uh, yeah, one thing I saw that was like when I started Gateoverflow and when we had a community going and a lot of activity on the website, I have seen like many people starting similar forums. So again, Gateoverflow, if you know, it is using an open source forum question to answer, which anyone can use and set it up. It won't
Right.
take more than 1 hour to do it. But one thing challenging is to keep it going
Right.
because uh, uh, yeah, like for me, I had some experience even before Gateoverflow. Like I told, during my bachelor's, we had a forum which was for our department. So the
Mhm.
main key learning of that was how it that was active again. Even though it was within our department, initially it was pretty active. But once it went down for some reason,
Mhm.
and we did not fix it for almost 2 weeks. So after
Right.
that, it never went back to the previous state. And the other thing was, so it was our batch which created that forum. And when we left
Right.
the college, we gave it to the next batch. So
Mhm.
from what the learning from that was like, if you start something, you have to ensure that you maintain it because no
Yeah.
one else will have the same motivation like you to maintain that. So
True.
that was something which I wanted to do when I started Gateoverflow. Like even though it was for community, I always wanted to like make sure that it runs without giving that responsibility to anyone else, because I know
Mhm.
that if unless there is someone who really is motivated, no one else
Right.
will do it like the starter. Because when you
Yeah.
found something, you have that attachment to that which you
Mhm.
want to keep going. So that is something which helped because uh, yeah, and other thing was like yeah, this is something which many people don't give that importance. Like for example, some colleges in India, they like to get to a flow concept, and they wanted something which
Mhm.
uh, even the exams which we conduct on Gateoverflow. So
Right.
one engineering college, they contacted me and they wanted that platform for themselves, and it was for mechanical engineering. And
Oh.
they were ready to pay for it. But the problem was that they think that if we give the code, it will keep on running.
Mhm.
But that is not true because the software stack, they keep on changing and there can be issues coming. So unless there are proper people who can maintain it,
Right.
these websites cannot run. So for
Mhm.
me, I had like small issues. I used to handle myself, and based on my experience, I know the people to contact to fix issues which I cannot handle. So, even though question to answer forum is open source, there are like a lot of other website engineers who have helped in Gateoverflow. Like we have almost more than 10 plugins and themes which are running. Those are like made by very good developers. And again, for me, the main contribution I did there was to pick the right developers. And that
Right.
I could do because of my experience at IISc. So at IISc, I was also doing a system admin job, which was voluntarily.
Mhm.
I really enjoyed it, and during that time, I learned a lot about systems and maintaining the systems. And again, the advantage of being at IISc, uh, uh, I was not even knowing basic shell scripting when I became the system admin. I don't think I would have cleared any system admin interview, but still,
Mhm.
IAC being open, they allowed me to be a system admin. And once you are a system admin, again, whenever you had trouble, there are like plenty of people who can help you.
Right.
Like I
Right.
had good seniors, so any doubt we had, they used to help me. So yeah,
Mhm.
those all experience are were pretty useful in running Gate Overflow even now. So again,
Right.
even like not only the technical aspect, even the subject knowledge, that is also something which uh, like as a founder we need to have to keep the
Mm.
forum running. For example, in Gateoverflow, we actually have other for other departments like electronics, mechanical, and all. So again, why we started them is because we had the previous year questions there and we had the infrastructure. So it is only
Right.
about adding the questions and giving the answers. But
Mm.
those are not active as computer science because
Yeah.
in only in computer science we have the subject knowledge. So the other
Mm.
forums we still keep them running because some questions there are relevant to computer science, and again
Right.
some infrastructure like previous year gate exams we can offer them because
Mm.
those come for free for us.
Mm. Yeah.
Yeah.
So parallelly, while Gate Overflow, you were working on Gate Overflow, you were also doing your PhD, you were then doing your postdoc. And after your postdoc, you moved back to India and worked here for about like little more than 2 years, right? For AMD. So why did you move? Like you could have easily gotten a job there only, or you could have easily gone back to France because you had spent quite some time there as well. So what was the motivation behind the decision to move back?
Okay, so I will ask a question back to you.
Mm.
So, yeah, you asked like why I moved back to India and why not in US or France. So,
Right.
what is the motivation behind that question, even?
My motivation is I want to work abroad. Might be in Europe, might be in US, but
Okay,
for
okay,
the
yeah,
initial
I
few
got it.
years, yeah.
Okay, okay. Again, what is the reason for that?
Reason for that is exploring a new place, maybe in exploring because like I went to Bangalore for a few days for that IISc AI interview. Sorry, interview is not exam, AI exam. So it felt quite mundane being there, even when it is called Silicon Valley of India because you know India, you do not have that thrill of exploring a new place. While if you go to Europe or something, as you said, you explored a lot of things, explored cheese, explored wine, explored confectionaries there. So these all things can be explored while working as well. Yeah.
Okay, yeah, that is pretty true, and yeah, that is very good motivation. Yeah, now I will answer your question. So, like, I was in France for 4 years, and I really enjoyed the time there. So, my wife, so I got married during my second, or like, yeah, almost when I finished my first year of PhD, and my wife, she also joined for PhD at the same place. So she also liked the place, but one thing she did not like there was not knowing French, and she wanted to go to US.
Right.
So that is one reason. Like I moved to US for my postdoc, and like pretty soon she also came there. But after coming to US, she did not like the place. Like within a couple of months, even she was like she was not enjoying the place, and the even though there was language was English, so then only she realized the good things about France. So
Mm.
it's some things like you realize the importance only when you lose them.
Right. Yeah.
So and so that was one reason why we left US and we came to India then. And yeah, and the main things which she did not like was in Europe, the public transport is pretty good. And other thing is like you don't even need a vehicle. You can just
Mm.
walk around and get everything you need. So it is like
Right.
living in a place you walk to the nearby, like 10 minutes walk, you get everything. Like you can reach a shopping mall, you can get a McDonald's, you can get all the restaurants. Like within your community, you get everything. So that is kind of the culture in almost throughout the Europe, not only
Right.
France but almost anywhere. But when we go to US, the culture changes. Like in US, there is US is a continent, so
Mhm.
there is a lot of space. So you will have like not in like a big city like New York, but in most other places, you will be living just outside the city and you will have a large house, large compound, but you need a car to go to any supermarket or any place. So that is kind of
Mhm.
even I would say India is kind of in between US and Europe. India also like
Right.
you need a car to go to like any places of importance or like any
Right.
even normal market. But for my wife, she doesn't like driving. And
Mhm.
for her, this kind of culture in Europe was very welcoming. And that is why she did not look for a job in US, and we moved back to India. And at that time, I told her, okay, you can find a job in Europe, and we can move there.
Mhm.
So and then I was also looking for a job in India, and that is when I joined AMD India. And same
Right.
time she got a postdoc in UK. So since it was a postdoc, we weren't sure like how long it will be. So post the difference between a postdoc and PhD is that PhD is a degree. So typically it is 4 years, but in places like France it is 3 or 3.5 years. Some places it is
Mhm.
5 years. But after your PhD, you give a defense or like thesis to your university and you get your degree. But
Right.
postdoc is more like an experience. So there is no degree or no duration. You can continue as much as you like.
Right.
So I told her, okay, she can go join the postdoc and see how it goes. And if she likes the place, I will also come to UK. And she came to UK, and so basically she got the European feeling. And
Right.
UK being English speaking, that language issue is also solved. And
Right.
so I also thought, okay, I will also come here. But at that time, COVID came, so I
Mhm.
continued for 1 more year at AMD India. But mostly I was in UK during that time. And
Mhm.
after that time, I moved to UK. And since you want to explore, I would suggest that you should explore both Europe and US. So
Right.
because both are different. Some people like US, some people like Europe.
Yeah.
So but
True.
it's good to know both places. And even in Europe, even in India, like different states, the culture is not the same.
Right.
So if you come to Europe, again, different countries, the culture is different. So I
Mhm.
would suggest everyone to visit Europe for at least 1 month. Then only you can
Yeah.
know about Europe. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So, one question that I had, like if I go to your LinkedIn and check your work details, so you have mentioned uh, two skills that you have highlighted mostly is are Unix and performance tuning in different roles. So, like I would like to know how these two skills throughout the multitude of roles that you have worked in have factored in those roles because I might be completely wrong and these two skills can be applied universally to everything, or it might be that you did something particular that you could adopt these skills to different kind of roles as well.
Yeah, the Unix stuff, like I told, until I completed my undergraduate, I was zero in Unix. I always wanted to learn Unix, but mostly I was using Windows. So only after going to IISc and becoming system admin, I started learning Unix. Even now, I won't
Right.
say like I am an expert in Unix, but now at least I know the working knowledge. But the performance optimization part, that is something which was there starting even from my undergraduate time. Like as a person, I am a mostly a bottom up person. So I even the performance opportunities, I do uh, like output driven. So I try many stuffs and see how it goes and picks the best option out there, which is not a recommended way, but that is something which have worked for me in my career. Even like my PhD work, the idea of my PhD work was not unique. Many people have tried. It's a pretty simple concept. It's called function memoization. So basically, when you call a function, you also save the result, so that when
Right.
the function is called again, you don't execute it. Instead, you just return the saved result. It is kind
Yeah.
of similar to the caching concept. So many people have tried it before also, but one thing was that there was no performance gains. So
Mm.
during my PhD, initially, when my advisor suggested me to try it, again, he wasn't sure whether we will get any performance gain. If you don't get any
Mm.
performance gain, of course, we have to do some other work.
Mm.
But by doing like very optimal code, I could get performance gain out of this function memoization. So
Right.
if I just slightly change that implementation, again, there is no performance gain. And
Mm.
so that was very critical there. And again, going to my postdoc work, again, it was the tensor transposition library for GPUs. So we had we have many different algorithms to do the transposition, but which will give the performance, peak performance, that we have to
Mm.
explore. And we have to adapt the algorithms according to that. So typically, we will have the algorithm, we will have the architecture details, but only when we implement, we will see some things which we never thought of. And based on that, we have to adapt the algorithms. So that kind of work is kind of natural to me. And that is why I stick to those kind of work.
Mm. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
So a little recon on you informed me about your passion for traveling, and I think it's one of your biggest passions because I found out that you have traveled, you have made road trips, a lot many road trips. So my question here is a slightly like more less technical, very less technical, but it is still an important skill to have because being so much busy with your work, like you during your masters, then doctorate, then postdoc, then jobs, continuously doing all these things. So time management obviously becomes a very important skill to have. So was this skill intrinsic to you, or how did you develop this along the way while working throughout your life?
So, have you seen any travel by me in the last 1 or 2 years?
No, not really.
Yeah, no, because I haven't really traveled. So that shows that I don't have that skill which you told. Now, during I think you were repeating for Gate, right? So last 1 year, did you do any travel?
Not at all. Gained a
Uh,
lot of weight, did no travel, nothing at all.
but why was it due to lack of time?
It was mostly due to lack of time, but it was not to say, but to be really honest, it's due to lack of interest as well.
Okay,
Because I was working on projects along the way while preparing for GATE, but like personal projects. But that's mostly where my passion lies.
okay. Yeah. So, yeah, I would say many people who are interested in traveling, they also like mostly they won't be traveling during their Gate preparation time, and they would say
Mm.
like lack of time. But when you move, like when you join for masters, even then you would realize that okay, during my Gate preparation, I actually had a lot of time.
Mm.
And like you earlier told, first year of masters is really busy. That is true. Like even compared to my PhD time, the first year of masters was busier. But say during my postdoc, that was, I think, more hectic than even the master's time. So then
Right.
we will think that okay, that time we had more time.
Right.
So
Yeah.
yeah, the when you say busy, it has different levels, and only when you are put into a situation where you are even more busier, you will
Mm,
realize that you had time at that time. So
mm,
I can
right.
say that I was not doing any time management during my master's or PhD. It is just that I had more time than, then.
Compared to now.
Yeah, yeah, for example, during my postdoc, the only place I visited was a nearby zoo.
Okay.
Because full time we were working, and my friend, he used to joke that it is good to do postdoc there because we get a lot of money, and even more than that, we don't have time to spend the money, so we will have a lot of savings.
Right.
So yeah, but that, I mean, the good thing about that is like once you are in such a situation, that experience means that you never ever in your career you will feel like you are stressed.
Mm, right.
So even after coming to UK, I was working at Cray, which is a startup. So there, the company CEO, he's called Andon. So he used to say, I mean, he used to say like, uh, being a startup, it is the work is a bit busy. So he used to feel sorry, or like he used to say like sorry, or like don't feel that stressed. But I was like, this is nothing compared to postdoc or even the IISc life. So that is some advantage which like even after your masters at IISc you will have. And
Right.
even at AMD, many of my senior colleagues, they were from IISc. So when
Okay.
they interview some people from say IISc, the even before the interview, they have a plus point, and the plus point
Right.
is nothing about the technical skill or knowledge, but it is that okay, they have gone through that curriculum. So that
Right.
itself is the plus point which they see in those candidates.
Mm,
Yeah,
yeah.
and and even the time management thing, I think in like when you go to IIC, I think you will get that answer.
So I think it's not really time management. It's just that later in your life, if you find less busy schedule, you'll feel like, okay, now I can manage time compared to when I was really busy back in masters, back in PhD.
Yeah, so the definition of busyness changes.
Right.
And now, like last 2 years, I have been really busy because the difference is that um, uh, you always have more work to do. So it's like it's only the question is only about when you finish them. So
Right.
yeah, so in that case, like the free time is time which you decide not to work. So it's not like you
Mm,
have finished the work and you get the free time. So
right.
and the more you work, the more output you can get. So that is why
Yeah.
like you are always busy. But say if you are doing like when I was doing my PhD, we had a goal, and I was focused on just one work. So
Mm,
when I was bored with that work, I can go out, I can travel. So
yeah.
that and even during IIC, we had sleepless nights because we will do assignments and all. But when we submit the assignments, you are free. When the
Mm.
sem exam is over, you are free. So 2 3 days you can go, and I think you are going to IIC only, right?
No, IIT Bombay.
Oh, okay. Yeah, so in IISc, the good thing was that it was in Bangalore. So we used to go
Mm,
to all the nearby places. They're like very beautiful places nearby. And I know that even IIT Bombay, they have very nice places in around that, like including
yeah.
Pune and all. So and there we used to go with all the batchmates. So that was, I mean, we had time. It was not like I was making time. So the IISc or the master's life will be like you will be very busy, and then you won't have anything to do for a few days. So during
Right.
those time, you can do whatever you want to do. But later in your life, that is one thing which, like, especially when you join a company and you are like doing busy work, that free time is what you will be missing.
Right. Yeah. So, one question that I have, because we have talked about Gate Overflow from the perspective of you as a founder, you as a creator of that forum. But apart from that, apart from being a researcher, apart from being an engineer, you have also been in the position of an educator. So, how has that experience been while interacting with the Gate aspirants, teaching them or answering their question? How has that experience been for you?
That was very interesting, and personally, like even after completing my masters, if anyone asked me what job I wanted to do, I was open to any job except teaching because I never considered myself to be a good teacher because again, what I thought was that as a teacher, the main skill you need to have is you need to be a good speaker, which unfortunately I don't think I am. So that is why, like from my childhood, teaching was something which I never considered as a possible job.
Mm.
But after my masters, like realized that okay, speaking is a good skill or a necessary skill to be a teacher, but that's not the
Right.
only skill.
Mm.
So especially when I started answering in Gateoverflow, maybe it was because I was not a good speaker. I wanted to make sure that my answer speaks for myself. So I
Mm.
wanted to, like, when I give the answers, I used to make sure that I cover all the aspects, and it was not like giving the correct answer. It was also trying to make sure that the aspirants think all the corner cases, and
Right.
typically, like all the like any question bank we see, it will always be like you have a question, you have a steps to follow, you get the answer. But
Right.
what if or how those steps came, and if there is it is a multiple choice question, you get one answer, but why the other answers are wrong? So
Right.
these kind of things are something which I wanted to cover, and it is not just to put those things in Gateoverflow as an answer, but that is something which I want every student to follow in whichever book they follow.
Mm.
And I am happy that a lot of Gate aspirants uh, did follow those things, and but again, the one thing which I'm still not satisfied is that the number of people who does this is not that many, and I would say that is why like only like not even 1% of the gate aspirants get above like 70 marks, and
Mm.
still there is a huge gap between the gate toppers and the other people, and
Right.
it's and the reason for that is not their skill or intelligence. It's about how they solve each question. And
Yeah.
this is something which I try to tell to the gate aspirants, but and I see it working, but it's not working very fast. But slowly by
Mm.
slowly, at least some people are changing, which
Yeah.
which is good. But it would be good if the change happens faster.
Yes, the like being a recent aspirant, I can relate to all those points, especially the point where you said that why the other options are not correct, because it's rare that Gate poses a question and gives four completely different one option is in north, one option is in south. They rarely do that. it's mostly like one option is in north, then one option is 1 degree away from north. So you need to know why that is not the correct option, because it really tempts you that this might also be the right option. Maybe this is the right option. So to avoid all that confusion, especially in that 3 hour time frame, it is really important to know and get those answers. So Gate Overflow really, like I feel really lucky that I caught on to that because of Gate Overflow pretty soon, and started like applying those like thought processes to my own preparation as well. Yeah.
Yeah, and ideally, like this kind of thought approaches it should have been taught in the school days, and
Yeah.
actually, like those students who do this from their school days, those are the ones who gets the advantage. Because, like, even personally, like I told, uh, I have put a lot of effort as a school student to memorize stuffs, and I was not bad at it, because I think in my 10th standard I had 95 percentage marks. But those that marks is almost useless. Like during my 10th, I was thinking like, okay, this mark is like the biggest thing in my life. But after that, it was like nothing, completely useless. And then again, during my plus two life, I wanted to get into basically the same college which I studied. That
Mm.
was my motivation. But I put a lot of effort. Like I think some days I used to wake up at 4:30 and cycle to my physics tuition. But what I learned, I was, I would say, like I learned much better in my school, because at least I was following the, even though I was reading the school textbook and all. But when
Mm.
during my plus two, due to that pressure, like we wanted to clear the engineering entrance. So the whole focus was shifted to question solving, and
Mm.
we were solving the questions. And uh, even like since I was not bad in memorizing, if I see a problem, I can solve it, and even if the problem is slightly shifted, I could adapt to it. But even
Mm.
then, I was not knowing the concept behind those problems. So, but that was enough for me to clear the state entrance exam and go to that college which I wanted to. But
Mm.
that is not enough for someone to go to IITs.
Yeah.
The difference is not because IIT exams are tough. The difference is because in IIT exams the questions are prepared by IIT process, and like you told, they are making those questions. They are not copying the questions from question banks. So they
Right.
know the concept. They know how to make the options and how to make sure that if your concept is slightly wrong, you will be
Yeah.
marking the wrong answer. So
Yes.
those all things I realized after going to IISc. But in an ideal case, I would want this kind of knowledge to be passed on to students, not the gate aspirants, but to school kids, at least like high school,
Right.
because that is when they are putting lot of effort and studying. So if they know the correct way, I mean, their whole career would be more enjoyable, and it won't be like after or during the plus two they go to quota, and like 2 years they study 20 hours, and I can say that those kind of studying is not useful and not necessary. And even for you, like I have a question, like how many hours you used to study for gate?
For Gate, I started I think around 6 to 8 hours. Then I think around 10 hours. No, in between, especially during like last few months, December, November, these months, it was around 10 hours at that time.
Okay, okay. So 10 hours you used to, like, what you used to do?
A few hours would go into in initial days, the few hours would go into lectures. Then a few hours to a different lecture, means two subjects at a time, and then like solving the question, doing those. And in the later months during December and everything, 3 hours would go into obviously giving the mock test, and 4 to 5 hours analyzing and revising those concepts for the mocks and everything.
Okay, okay. So one other question is, suppose you gave the gate 2 months earlier. I mean, what rank or how much mark you would have got?
It would definitely be much worse than what I
Yeah, that
got,
is sure, but
honestly.
still, how
But
much was?
uh, actually, I won't. I would say I will still put myself in top 500 there because I was a repeater, so I had some knowledge. And during my fourth year, when I gave gate for the first time, I actually had a few months less because I started a few months after usually everyone starts. So I started a few months after that. September, mid or October was when I started, and so I got around 600 rank at that time. So I would optimistically, not to like boost myself, but optimistically I will put around myself around that bracket.
Yeah, so that means you have already proved that even without 1 year of preparation, you are already getting 600 rank, right? And I would say like that is true for most toppers. So
Mhm.
and the effort is not proportional to the rank you are getting, right? Because sometimes you get to 70 marks. Now to from 70 to 75 marks, you might have to put a lot of effort. But with a
Yeah.
slight effort, you can jump from say 50 to 70,
Mhm.
because it's not about in an university exam, you can say it is more proportional. You study 10 chapters, you get this mark. You study few more chapters, your marks will increase proportionally. But for
Right.
GATE, it is about covering the subjects. That is one part, but also like uh, your intelligence or how to solve the problems, or
Definitely.
like some typical
Analytical skills.
misconception. Yeah, analytical skills. So those all needs to improve, and also like reading and understanding the question. So that is something
Mhm.
which I find lacking in many GATE aspirants, like especially like some aspirants really like to follow videos. That is
Mhm.
fine. Videos are useful to clearing the concept, but one thing is that GATE is not an interview. So finally you are given a question paper, so you have to read it and understand what the question means. So that skill also you need to develop. So if you bypass that skill and instead of reading the question, you see a video where someone is reading it for you, that
Right.
means you are already at a disadvantage. So these
Mhm.
kind of things are something which most GATE aspirants should avoid. The videos they should use for clearing or understanding concept, but reading
Right.
skill is even more important. Actually, like I told about my friend, right? We were talking even yesterday, and he was saying that one thing about undergraduate stuff, like we had an OS lab there, and we had an IPC program. I don't know, like during
The
your
process communication.
yeah. Did you have any lab for that?
During like bachelor's, we had lab, but these kind of nuances, these details of Unix and system programming weren't covered for at
Okay,
least
okay.
me.
So we had a lab which was operating system lab, and there we had a program called Finger Pro. Have you heard about Finger?
I think it's Stanford Info Labs particular something, right? I remember reading something related to this in a
Utility.
Stanford document only. Yeah.
Okay, okay. Yeah, so I had actually completely forgotten about this until my friend remembered me yesterday. So this was a utility which was used as an example for IPC during our lab. So it was in the question. So we had to implement that in for our lab, and we had no idea about how to do it. So my friend was in a different college. I was in a different college, but both of us were in the same university. So the syllabus was the same. So we used to call each other and discuss how to do it. And we were checking, like that was the first time I think we checked the man page, and we finally I mean, one thing which both of us ensured during our undergraduate was we used to discuss but never copy anything for, especially for the labs. It was more like an ego issue, you can say, because we were doing computer science. So we were like, if we copy anything for our, especially the programming aspect, it is kind of an self-insult.
Mm.
So even though both of us discussed, we used to implement it in our own way. And this particular stuff, finger or IPC, that is something which both of us really struggled. So we checked the man pages, and finally we did it. But after that, we never really had used finger utility or even that IPC part in our life. But what really helped us is that checking the man page, that experience of figuring out
Right.
how to do things. That was really useful in our masters, because there, when we joined masters, we had to do an assignment in LLVM. And LLVM, again, even the documentation, we had to Google and find how to get to the documentation. So those kind of things, like how to figure out things on your own,
Right.
that experience is very useful, and that is something which I see, like the undergraduate students, many of them really don't value. They want everything to be given to themselves, and they are ready to pay for them. But they think that it is a help if everything is given to them. But in your whole career, no one is going to do it. When you join a company, if some everything is given to you, then why the company is paying you?
Right.
So if so this figuring out things on your own, that is a skill which you need to develop. And if you develop that skill, you will get better jobs, and you won't have to worry about any jobs being cut, because if
Mm.
this job is gone, you will get another job.
Right.
So
Yeah.
yeah, so I would say, like, I know that, like, you are that kind of person, you who can figure out things on your own, because you made the gate rank predictor this year. So that is, I mean, that shows that you have that skill. So uh, again, that skill is not something which everyone is born with, but it's something which we develop gradually. So if you don't
Right.
start it now, you won't
Yeah.
develop it even next year. So I would suggest most undergraduates to do this. And if, like, almost 20 years back, that is something which most engineers in India had. But
Mm.
after that, when the IT boom came, and there is a flooding of engineering colleges, and not only that, initially the engineering colleges were more like colleges, but nowadays the engineering college is more like school.
Mm.
And the reason is, uh, do you know the reason?
I won't be knowing the reason because I haven't been in both the phases, but please do enlighten
Uh,
me.
yeah, but you know that it's mostly consumer driven. So
Yeah.
when you are a business, you have to satisfy the consumers, and you have to give
Right.
what the consumers demand.
Right.
Otherwise, you will lose the customers. So earlier, 20 years back, there were only few engineering colleges, so it was not market driven. So students go there, and the teachers had that freedom. So they used to teach what they wanted to teach. And since I
Right.
studied in a government college, that was still kind of following that culture at that time, because teachers weren't worried about student feedback.
Mm.
Again, we were not like IITs, where we had plenty of good teachers. We actually had like only like 3, 4 total teachers even. But
Mm.
again, they did not spoon fed us, because they had no pressure for that. But in private colleges, it is like uh, students want everything to be given to them, and the students' parents will also ask for that, and the college management will force the teachers to do that.
Right.
So eventually, students will get everything given to them for getting good marks in the exam. But this mark in the exam is not useful, is something which they don't realize.
Mm. Yeah, I actually, now that you are speaking about it, I actually kind of can relate to this being the case, because when I first entered my bachelor's college and for BTech, and the first day I was there for the what do you call it? I forgot the name. For counseling process for that college.
Okay.
Some students of that college were talking about projects being made, like everyone is doing C++ related projects, and I was so excited. Like this is the kind of place I wanted to be in, and it was all downhill there, because yeah, it felt like school, where you would be given knowledge decimated in a way that you have to mug it up otherwise, because who would you go for explanation? And I would like to relate it to the point, and I think you would know more about this, that reading technical books is also a skill in itself, which as you said, that if you're watching a video or something like that, you are already in a place of disadvantage, and especially if you're not reading technical books, or you do not have that skill of reading technical books, you are in a place of disadvantage as well, because you won't be able to find videos for masters, or especially when you go to PhD, obviously you won't be finding books at all. So who is going to make the video for you? So you need that skill as well.
Yeah, that is true. And say like if you join a like IT service company, like like Infosys, TCS, those kind of companies, typically they will give training
Mm,
for like 2 3 months, which most people find useful. But say like if you join a company like even like AMD, for example, there is no training, and most times there won't be even documentation. So it's all
mm,
about you figuring out things yourself. And when you have trouble, you will get help. You can ask for help because there are a lot of people working, and most people are helpful. But
mm,
you cannot expect like in a school where everything will be told to you, and in the exam you will be asked only questions which you have been taught in the class.
right.
Like I remember during our 10th exam, in our mathematics paper, there was a one question which was slightly like, I mean, you need a bit more aptitude to answer that question. And it was
Mm,
not straight away taken from the textbook. And there was
right.
a big issue created by all the students saying that this is, I mean, this is out of syllabus. I think you can maybe relate it to some gate questions also. So again, uh, why that issue was created at that time? Even I was, I think I answered that question, so I was kind of okay. But if I hadn't answered that question, I would have told, okay, this is out of question. We should get marks. But
Right.
whether whether they give mark or not, what is the importance? Like you might get 95 percentage with that mark. You might get 96 percentage. That is not going to have almost any importance in your career.
Mm,
You need to have like I won't say like those marks are completely useless, because I have seen like some people value them,
mm,
and the reason why they value them is like that shows that you have dedication.
mm,
So, but again, if you have even like very low marks in 10th or plus two, but later on you learn good stuff, uh, those are completely hidden. Means those won't
right.
affect you. I won't say anywhere, because I know some places where the whole academic history is important. Do you know any such place?
I can't remember any, but yeah, there are certain places where you will be asked for 10th, 12th, and everything academic background.
Uh, yeah, I mean, like even for most jobs, they might ask for 10th, 12th certificate
Right.
and all, but they won't consider the marks. I mean, if you sit for placements, typically they will have 60 percentage, 70 percentage, and they might make it applicable throughout the career.
Mm,
But the other place where the whole academic history is important is for like when you join as a faculty in government institutions.
mm,
They have this uh, like academic criteria throughout their career. So
okay.
if you have even like some backlog in bachelors and all, and that means
Right.
some of those opportunities are like lost for you. But again,
Okay.
I mean, there are plenty of opportunities, so those are like not that significant.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, mostly I think they set that 7.5 or 8 CGPA barrier and don't give like much focus to 10, 12 and things like that. Yeah.
Yeah. So my senior at IISc, he told like, uh, yeah, I mean, he told this sentence like, grades are not important, but not that is not universally true.
Mm,
Because some companies say like if you don't have uh, I can give a couple of examples. Some companies would say like you need 70 like 70 percentage to sit for placement, and some other companies would say like this happened for Microsoft. They took 10 people out of our batch, and five people they gave development position and five people testing position. Like the
mm,
package and all are the same, but just the domain was different. And
mm,
the people were chosen just based out of CGPA. So the
mm,
people with the top CGPA got into the development position, and others were given
right.
the testing profile. So these kind of things can happen, but in like places like IIT Bombay or IISc, like there are enough companies coming, so
Mm,
you have plenty of choice. So it's not a main issue.
right.
It's
So taking a little bit of segue from there because this question is also very important to know about. And so I would like to ask if there is something throughout here because you have had an very illustrious professional as well as educational career overall. So is there something that you feel like you would have done differently throughout, somewhere in between?
you mean in terms of my career?
Yeah, in your professional career or your educational career as
Okay.
well.
Yeah, sure. Like I told, I would really like to redo my plus two life because I mean, if you are lazy and you don't do anything, at least you enjoyed your time. But my
Right.
plus two life was like I put lot of effort, but I feel like it was uh, I won't say completely waste because I got what I wanted, but
Mm,
in terms of my
slightly
future life, it
misdirected.
was, yeah. So that is something which I missed, or like which I would like to correct.
Right.
Other than that, in terms of my undergraduate, I did not learn enough, but at least I we enjoyed a lot. So
Mm,
that kind of balances out. Uh,
right.
and during my PhD, like I think, say if I were doing it again, now I know how to put more effort while doing research. That time I wasn't sure. So because I went to my PhD after my masters, and I wasn't really like what is research or what how to do research. I learned it during my PhD, but now if I do it, I think at least I would get better output or like more output. Yeah. Other than that, after my PhD, like uh, I have been like doing like not same job, but that is something which I wanted to do. So that I don't get bored with the same job. And as when I was in my school, one thing I never wanted was a government job, and that was because I was afraid of transfers. And the funny thing is, and the transfer happens from one place to another place. So, but the funny thing was, after in my career, I have been moving around countries now.
Right. Yeah.
So these things you
Ironically.
cannot, yeah, you cannot control. So
Right.
fortunately, like now I think I am settled in UK, but you never know.
So
Yeah.
yeah. Yeah. So thank you, sir, for answering a lot of our questions in a lot of detail. So I think this is going to be helpful for a lot of people. But I would like to pose one last question for you, and it's a question that I pose for in the end of every interview. So my last question to you is, what is the future vision for Dr. Arjun Suresh? What is the future vision for Gateoverflow? So anything you'd like to share there?
Uh, Yeah, like I told, there are two things which I would like to solve. One is like I told, the things which gate toppers know, like you, not related to computer science specifically, but how to learn those things. I would really like to pass it much earlier, like to school students. But for now, I don't know how to do it. So hopefully, there is a solution for that. Sooner than later. And second part is, at least for GATE students, we to pass this knowledge, which I think I find that Go Classes is doing a good job there. They are teaching the concepts in the correct way, and so at least for GATE students, again, one thing I would like to change there is to do it in for the engineering students itself, means like as part of the, because for me, I even now I don't consider GATE preparation separate from BTech. So what I would like is, you study for BTech, you go give GATE and get a good mark. That is my expectation, and that is what I would like to have make it happen. But it's not easy. But for some people it does happen, the rank which I got, my friend got, even some of our juniors got. I had a junior who got 60 rank in he got 500 rank in third year, 60 rank in fourth year, without any GATE preparation. That kind of, I mean, many people, and other funny thing is, I don't think he ever went for masters. But this thing, many people even now don't realize that it's the subject knowledge which is getting you the GATE rank. It's not the GATE coaching or GATE preparation. So
Right.
that, I mean, I personally talk to many really good, smart undergraduate students, but I cannot convince them of this thing. So
Mhm.
that is something which I would like to do.
Yeah. Yeah,
Yeah.
so even for me, thank you for saying that the like a lot of us know how to learn, but to be really honest, that's one of the key motivation for me to go for masters is to learn how to learn actually, because that's something that I found lacking throughout my bachelor's and as you said through plus two system that we have in India. So in that also, I think somewhere the process of learning how to learn on my own, how to teach myself as a student, as a forever student, is something that I would like to learn in my master journey. And thank you for uh, like sharing your time, like giving us your time, sharing all this insight. And I would love to see this happen someday, where in bachelor's or in plus two, also people are thinking about the learning process, because the learning process is universal. Whatever your interest lies in, you can apply that learning process, whatever you discover, to that subject, and then you will be proficient in that subject. So I would, maybe there's some like high school overflow somewhere in your brain that might happen. Yeah.
Yeah, but yeah, thanks, Himanshu. So again, high school overflow or anything we can start, but we also need the interesting audience for that, right? So
Right. Yeah.
that also we need to develop. And again, most people follow, like even like Gate Overflow. Why people came to Gate Overflow? It was because only if you learn properly, you get a good gate rank. So the gate exam is the main reason why Gate Overflow is a success. If it was a different exam, no one or majority would not have come to Gate Overflow. So what really needs to change is those kind. The gate kind of exam should happen throughout the curriculum. but unfortunately,
Right.
it is the reverse which is happening. I know, long back or even now, like some schools, they have those kind of exams, but due to the pressure of the students and the parents, they
Right.
change that. So the first thing which needs to change is the mentality of the parents.
Right. Yeah.
Then but it's slowly changing. Like now I hear from my relatives and all that now there are schools which encourages not this kind of rote learning, or
Mm.
not less memorization and more application. But
Yeah.
it will take time, but I mean, it will eventually happen. So what I would like to do is to fasten that happening,
Yeah.
but one day it will happen. And yeah, and thanks for your time. And just one more point I would like to say is, since you're going to IIT Bombay, of course you should travel around and see all the nice places. But in addition to that, the one really good thing which is true for like all the top universities is you are in the middle of or like very intellectual people, like
Right.
so maybe like during gate preparation, when you think about some problems, yeah, like you can discuss it in gate overflow, but at least physically you don't have company with like,
Mm.
especially with like much smarter people, much more knowledgeable people where you can ask doubts. So
Mm.
that will be something which you will get in IIT Bombay. And like, I mean, when I joined IISc, I mean, I was not knowing how
I
teaching.
think, yeah,
Oh,
sorry,
there is
can
a
you repeat the last point? Yeah, I think the connection was a
okay,
little
yeah.
bit.
So that there was yeah. Like when I joined IISc, like we think that okay, the IISc faculties, the IISc professors, they will be much better than the professors of other colleges. But
Right.
in what aspect are they better? That so the main aspect is the knowledge. So, for example, I can say that in all the courses which I took in IISc, there is not even one faculty who did not know any question which almost 99% of the students asked.
Mm.
So, but in the undergraduate, I can say that most faculties were not knowing most of the questions which even an undergraduate students were asking, and that is why like they always used to or like stick to what they are teaching. But in
Right.
IISc, it is like the professors, because the difference is those professors are doing research, because so teaching is a part of their work. So in research, they are going to way different level than what they are teaching for the course. So if a
Right.
student asks any question out of what they are teaching, the professors are very happy because
Yeah.
they can use their knowledge better there. So that
Mm.
kind of environment is maybe like it can be addictive. So that is
Mm.
why like I know many people who after graduating from IISc, those who are in Bangalore, they used to go to IISc almost every week.
Mm.
So I think same might be true about IIT Bombay also. So the 2 years you are there, enjoy it to the maximum.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Okay.
on that optimistic note, thank you, sir, for your time. Thank you for answering our questions. Like, it has been a great, insightful chat with you, especially for me as well, because I sneaked in some of the questions that I wanted, was really curious about. So thank you for answering those, and thank you for answering general questions as well that passes through each gate aspirant's mind. Hopefully, this is going to be helpful for a lot of people, and a lot of us also got to know you better through this interview, so thank you. Yeah.
Yeah, you're welcome, and thanks for the interview. And I think it was a fantastic experience for me, and especially I think you have put a lot of effort in curating the questions. And yeah, thanks for the interview,
Sure.
and good luck
Thank you,
for
sir.
your masters. Yeah, bye.
Thank you. Yeah, bye.
Bye.